Tonight, my take is on the IEBC. Or maybe that's a tired subject, but what to do? We have 10 days to the repeat presidential election. And folks, we are not in a good place. Today we woke up to the news that the results transmission system will not be able to be reconfigured to accommodate all the new presidential candidates. And by new, I mean the ones who have been added to the race following last week's ruling by Justice Mativo. The IEBC says the system had already been set up for only 2 candidates, and the Commission does not have the time to configure it back. The IEBC goes on to explain in detail what the alternative will be. The explanation is fairly complex, but this turn of events is only the latest in a series of developments that continue to expose the Commission as a body hopping from one crisis to another. Even before the election, the IEBC was already embroiled in numerous cases, and they hardly won any. Never mind that they paid top dollar to some of the biggest names in the legal field. And yes, it is led by a lawyer, in fact, one who is qualified enough to be a judge. Take this. The IEBC lost the case on procuring of ballot papers after direct procurement to Al Ghurair. They cancelled the tender awarded to Jamalto and gave it to Safran. They then lost the Maina Kiai case on finality of the results at the constituency level. And then lost the appeal of the same case. They ultimately lost at the Supreme Court with the annulment of the results of the presidential poll. But it didn't end there with the cases. After the September 1st Supreme Court verdict in this country, a number of issues came up. Once they lost that, there emerged an apparent split. The chair wrote a memo to the CEO seeking answers to some 12 issues. To date, ladies and gentlemen, we have not seen any responses to that memo. The commissioners and the secretariat then went into a retreat, one where they even sought divine intervention and came out smiling, saying that just like that, they had patched things up. Right? So, problems were over, or so we thought. Well, not quite. You see, the IEBC then went on to set a date for the next election, which was the 17th of October. Then they later changed that date to the 26th of October to apparently allow them more time to be able to prepare. They then interpreted the fresh election to mean that only 2 candidates would participate in line with the 2013 verdict. That got the country into the debate of obiter dictum versus ratio decidendi. Dr. Ekuru Aukot then went to court, seeking to challenge this and won. Now get this, in less than 24 hours, the IEBC had quickly made a decision. They interpreted Justice Mativo's ruling to mean that, in fact, all 8 presidential candidates shall be included. Never mind that their argument during the case was that they would not have enough time to reconfigure the KIEMS kit to include Ekuru Aukot. Never mind also that Raila Odinga had just the previous day opted to withdraw from the race. Never mind that Cyrus Shakalaka Khwajirongo had been declared bankrupt. Then another circular came from the IEBC that there would in fact be 7 candidates and not 8, excluding Shakalaka Khwajirongo. And today, that they have revised the workflow of the results transmission system and that, in fact, there would be no electronic transmission or text results from polling stations. That is too much stuff to be going on in just one commission. Fellow Kenyans, the last thing we need from IEBC at this critical time is sheepish smiles and words to placate us all that we are just fine. We are not. The IEBC chair must now lead his team with courage, confidence, and clarity of thought. We expect no less, because the IEBC may well hold the fate of Kenya in its hands. And that is my take tonight.